The Grand Hall in New York City was packed. Cameras, lights, and flashing screens surrounded the world's most powerful leaders, reporters, and viewers, watching live from every corner of the globe. The atmosphere buzzed with tension and hope. Today was a historic summit, a moment many believed could change the future of global leadership forever. Among the invited speakers was Captain Ibrahim Traoré, a strong, calm figure known for his dedication to Africa's dignity and independence. As the crowd quieted, Ibrahim stepped up to the podium. His eyes scanned the room. Leaders from every continent sat before him, including Barack Obama, seated front and center, his expression thoughtful. Suddenly the air shifted. Ibrahim's voice started steady, speaking of pride and strength, the familiar talk of freedom and self-respect. But then, mid-speech, his words slowed. His eyes grew distant, as if pulling back a curtain no one expected. The room held its breath. What secret could this proud leader be about to share? Ibrahim began to tell a story no one had ever heard, a story wrapped in silence and shadow. Years ago, when he was a young man, his mother fell dangerously ill in a small village. The local hospital was struggling, supplies scarce. Her chances were fading like the sun at dusk. But then, something unexpected happened. A group of American volunteers, part of a forgotten humanitarian program, arrived quietly. They brought medicine, care, and hope. They stayed for months, working in the shadows, saving lives that otherwise would have been lost. Ibrahim's voice cracked slightly as he spoke of that time, a mix of pain and gratitude washing over him. He never told anyone about those volunteers before, because the story was complicated. It was a story of rescue, yes, but also a story tangled with years of mistrust, history, and painful memories between Africa and America. As Ibrahim spoke, the room was silent, the world watching. He told how his mother's strength returned slowly, her life saved by strangers from a faraway land. How, despite everything, a deep gratitude settled in his heart, a gratitude that sometimes felt heavy with the past. He explained the bittersweet truth. America's role in Africa had been both a story of pain and kindness, of mistakes and hope. How could he honor the help given to his mother without ignoring the history that made it so complicated? In the front row, Barack Obama's eyes glistened. He looked down briefly, then back up, trying to hide the emotion welling inside him. A moment later, the camera caught it, Obama wiping a tear from his eye. A rare, raw moment from a man who had seen and lived much of that history himself. The summit's energy shifted. What had started as a speech on politics became something far more powerful. A human story that touched every soul present. Ibrahim's voice softened as he recalled those early days watching over his mother. He was just a boy then, scared and confused. The hospital room was dim, filled with the sound of machines and quiet prayers. Every day he waited by her bedside, hoping for a sign that she would survive. He remembered the volunteers, strangers who spoke a different language but smiled kindly. They treated his mother with gentle hands and quiet determination. One nurse, a woman named Sarah, held his small hand and told him stories to keep his hope alive. That kindness planted a seed in Ibrahim's heart, a seed of belief that even in the darkest times, light could break through. But it was also a seed tangled with questions. Why did these helpers come so late? Why did the world often forget places like his village until tragedy forced attention? Ibrahim spoke next about the invisible bridge those volunteers built, a fragile connection between two worlds separated by distance, history, and misunderstanding. He described how, years later, as a young man leading his country's fight for dignity, he carried that memory with him. It was a secret source of strength, a reminder that beneath politics and pain, humanity could still reach across divides. But the bridge was thin, vulnerable. Many in Africa saw America's help as an apology that never came, a kindness that didn't erase the scars of colonization and neglect. Ibrahim himself wrestled with this daily. How to honor what was good while fighting what was wrong. Standing at the podium, Ibrahim's voice grew steadier, but his eyes never left the crowd. He spoke of the burden of leadership, carrying the hopes of millions while bearing the weight of history. He shared how that moment with his mother taught him lessons no book ever could, about resilience, about humility, and about the power of forgiveness. As he spoke, viewers worldwide felt the weight of his words. They weren't just political promises or speeches. They were deeply human confessions, an invitation to see beyond headlines and history, into the hearts of those who live the legacy every day. The room remained still, waiting. What truth would Ibrahim reveal next? The world was ready, but none were prepared for the next chapter. Ibrahim's voice grew quiet as he confessed a secret pain he had carried for years. Though his mother survived, the illness left scars, not just on her body, but on their family's spirit. He spoke of nights spent in silence, wrestling with anger and sadness. How could he forgive the world for letting her suffer so much before help arrived? How could he forget the friends and neighbors who weren't so lucky? His words echoed through the hall like a whispered prayer, touching the hearts of leaders and viewers alike. For a moment, the politics and power faded away, replaced by raw, unguarded human grief. Then, slowly, Ibrahim shifted tone. From the depths of pain, he pulled out hope, fragile, glowing, but unbreakable. He told how the volunteers' kindness had inspired him to believe in a better future, one where Africa's children wouldn't have to wait for help to arrive, where dignity was not a dream but a right. His hope was not naive. It was hard-won, born from struggle. But it was real. And he vowed to carry it forward, not just for himself, but for every mother, every child, every dream deferred. In the front row, Obama's face was unreadable, but the camera captured a close-up, eyes glistening, a tight breath. No words could be spoken in that silence. But in that moment, the shared history between two men, two continents, filled the space. The world saw something rare: vulnerability, empathy, and respect. As Ibrahim's story unfolded, the summit became less about politics and more about healing, a fragile, painful, but necessary process. Ibrahim spoke softly about the small acts that changed everything. How a single dose of medicine, a kind word, a warm blanket, these simple things had saved his mother's life. He reminded the world that sometimes real change begins not with grand speeches, but with small hands reaching out in kindness. The volunteers weren't heroes because of politics. They were heroes because they cared when no one else did. His story was a quiet call to action, a reminder that every person, every gesture, matters in the fight for dignity and survival. But Ibrahim also revealed the hardest part, the silence that followed. The world quickly forgot those volunteers. The program was shut down, funding dried up, attention moved on. He told how that silence weighed heavily on him, a reminder that even the brightest lights can be extinguished too soon. His voice trembled as he confessed how hard it was to carry this story alone, unseen and unheard, until now. Then Ibrahim looked up, his eyes shining with fierce determination. He promised that this moment, this summit, would be different, that the world would no longer turn away. He pledged to build a new dawn for Africa, one where help was not a rare gift, but a shared right, where dignity, hope, and life were the foundation for every child. His words sparked a wave of energy through the room, hope mingling with tears. Ibrahim paused and spoke of the volunteers by name, people the world never knew. Sarah, James, Maria, ordinary Americans who gave their hearts to save lives quietly, without fame or fortune. He told how their sacrifice was a reminder that goodness exists even in complicated times. Their love crossed borders, languages, and politics. This tribute was more than thanks. It was a call to remember the unseen heroes who work behind the scenes, often forgotten. Ibrahim's voice grew urgent. He spoke of the fragile bridge between Africa and America, a bridge built on moments like his mother's rescue, but threatened by decades of mistrust. He said it was time to strengthen that bridge, with honesty, respect, and shared responsibility. Not charity, but partnership. His words echoed through the hall, challenging every leader to do better, to be better. The room held its breath as Ibrahim prepared to share the final part of his story, the part he had never spoken aloud. He revealed how after his mother's recovery, he vowed to serve his people with every ounce of strength. That personal moment became the fire that shaped his leadership. He wasn't just a captain or a politician. He was a son who owed everything to a gift of kindness, and he would carry that debt with honor. As Ibrahim's voice softened, he spoke of the deep emotions that overwhelmed him now, standing before the world, sharing this secret story. He glanced toward Obama, who sat quietly, eyes shimmering with tears. The room felt suspended in time. The barriers of politics, pride, and history melted away. In that moment, two men from different worlds connected through shared pain and hope, reminding everyone watching that humanity is greater than division. Ibrahim's final words were a promise to build a future where no mother, no child would ever have to fight alone. He called on leaders, citizens, and viewers alike to join in this mission, to create a legacy of dignity, respect, and true partnership. The hall erupted in applause, but the impact was deeper than sound. It was a movement born from tears, courage, and the power of truth. As the cameras panned the crowd, capturing the stunned faces, the summit was no longer just an event. It was a turning point. Videos of Ibrahim's speech spread like wildfire, touching hearts around the globe. People cried, shared, and reflected on what dignity and independence truly mean. And for many, Captain Ibrahim Traoré became more than a leader. He became a symbol of hope, courage, and the enduring power of gratitude. If this story moved you, if Ibrahim's journey touched your heart, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support helps bring more powerful stories to light. Let's grow this community of truth, hope, and emotion together. Thank you for watching.